3, 2, 1.
Sometimes when price is down, I panic sell. Then price immediately goes back up and I FOMO back in. It's addicting.
Man, that was deep. Don't panic sell. Don't FOMO buy. Just don't do it. Learn from this guy. What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, May 9th, 2018. It's a beautiful day out there, and wanted to go over some Litecoin technical analysis. I just wanted to look at the charts. Mainly, I want to look at support because I think it's very important right now, actually, where we are in terms of the charts. We can start here. The tweet the other day when we made our run, we broke 170. We eventually got up there to 180. And I tweeted to anticipate always. And we were looking to revisit, as we always conservatively do once we break out of a triangle, this circle that you see on the screen, which is the top of that triangle, that area. I put 145 to 150. I don't think we really got quite down to 150, but we got close. You can look at the daily real quick, and you can see the wick down on that daily candle is 151. So I'd say we anticipated that nicely. We started here, anticipated a run up, and then we anticipated a run back down, because this is the game. This is the game of crypto that we're living in. We don't usually look at smaller time frames, but there's a lot going on in the last week or two in terms of watching this triangle and this continuation pattern. We looked, we watched, and we did well, I would say. So right now we're at 157.67. Just want to point out a couple of things I think are notable and important. We can start on the weekly, and you can see us broke out of the triangle. We have some pretty nice support right now where we are around right above 155. But what I want to look at is I want to point out the RSI. You can see at the bottom of the screen here. And RSI, really just a momentum oscillator. Anything above this line that you see here around 70, you would basically call that's overbought. Anything below this orange line I have down there below 30 is oversold. And you can see we're right in that mid-range. And I think it's very important to note that, because if you look at when we broke out before, back here in November, which we often do, we always look at these other breakouts. You can see where the RSI actually was starting, already a little bit closer to that overbought area. So it doesn't allow as much room. Really, there are no rules in crypto, but from a technical analysis standpoint, it doesn't allow much room, because you're not going to be an overbought for that long. And you can see that's where that run up and back down below comes from. So I just want to point out we're in that really mid-range of these areas, and we haven't even started approaching the overbought area. So that's number one, which is good. And actually, I'll point out on Bitcoin, right around the same area, right around the same thing going on. So you can see it mid-range, and back here, you see the breakout even more overbought when it happened back in November. There's that big breakout on the weekly, and you can see on the weekly, we were already in the overbought area, okay? Before we made that crazy run up to like 20,000. So very important. We have a lot of room for a nice swing, a nice bull run. I just want to point that out. It's important. So going to the daily, what I like to see right now, I just like this hammered daily candle, especially after 3 or 4 days of downward trend. And the other thing I'm looking at is the fact that on the stock RSI, we're approaching that oversold area, which is nice. We might have a little bit more to go before a possible swing up. That could look like hitting the bottom of this triangle, which we haven't done yet. So right now, what I'm looking for on that downside, if it were to happen, you see this rectangle, I put support right in that 145 to 150 area, which really coincides really nicely with this 50 and the 200 EMA. So I see a lot of support right now in this triangle, or at the top of this triangle and in this area. So I really wanted to point that out. Now from there, I guess in telling this story of what next, obviously I'll go to the 4 hour. So a couple things going on. We have our support, possible bounce off of supports when we finally do run. But I also want to point something else out. I think we talked about this before. This is on the 4 hour. And I could probably go to the, let me see, I could go to the daily. One thing to add into this story of support is we can take the Fibonacci, and we can take it if I can get it. We can take Fibonacci before we made this little run to 180, and you can see right where we're talking about support is the 786, which in the past you see this happen a lot with Litecoin in terms of a retracement down to the 786. And that really, in my opinion, helps tell that story of support that we're seeing right here. So I'm confident in support there. We'll see what happens. And then on the upside, we're just keeping our eye for the next run to just break down that wall at 180. So just keep your eyes peeled as we you can see us again. I'll just point out on the stock RSI over here on the daily for Litecoin, kind of coming down on this momentum oscillator. So let's see if we can get some momentum back up and make a nice strong run at 180. What will that look like? I don't know if it's going to happen now. I don't know if we're going to retrace just a little bit further down and then a bounce up. But right now you can see us, we're pretty clearly in this channel. So I could definitely anticipate a run up to 180. But be careful in that 145 to 150 area. If we start approaching that, just watch it. Watch it for support and let's see what happens. Those are my thoughts today, May 9th. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. I'm curious. How are you holding up out there? I really do appreciate all of you for watching today. I know I missed a video yesterday. It's just been crazy busy. But again, appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of the channel. As always, I will see you in the next video, and God bless.